First things first, um, you don't really need to have a college degree to make money, and this is something that I learned once I kind of joined the recruitment area, is that there are a ton of jobs that are out there that are willing to pay without you having 4 years in school and a bachelor's degree. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a pretty interesting story to go over today. One that really focuses on, what kind of career path is going to be, good to go for, and this includes career paths that require a degree, career paths that don't require a degree, etc. And to be honest, this is more of just like opinion than fact, but kind of with my experience in the recruitment field, I know a little bit about what areas are worth the financial investment of college and what areas are not. So to start off, this post here, so this person is homeless. They are looking for a job that is around $40,000 a year, which I'll be honest with you, it's actually pretty easy. I don't want to say easy to come by, but it's very attainable, even though it doesn't seem like it. $40,000 per year is about $19 per hour, somewhere within that range. So, if you're making less than $19 an hour, you can still attain $40,000 a year if you're working like 40, 50, or more than 40 hours per week, probably along the lines of like 45 to 50 hours per week. So, it's definitely possible. So just to jump into this person's post here. So, info: single, never married, no kids, United States, no college degree, and don't want to spend the money to go to college. I also have no friends and no family. This is not an exaggeration. I have nobody except maybe God. I live in my car, but I definitely don't look it, and nobody could tell unless I told them. Hi, I'm a loser here. That's a little bit degrading right from the start. You don't want to call yourself a loser. You just have different circumstances. I've been living in my car for about 5 years. I had a job up until a few days ago. I was making $11 per hour. I was working like 50 hours a week. That means $30,000 a year before taxes. Trust me, I've been there. I completely understand, and taxes probably killed you too. I lost the job because I was fired for insubordination, aka asking them to honor the pay raise, the $12 an hour like they promised months ago. I'm sick and tired of working to hear companies that pay so low and don't treat their staff correctly. I would like to make $40,000 a year before taxes. I know that is a lot more than $30,000. It's really not that much more than $30,000 if you think about it. It's really like, there are 2,080 working hours in a year if you're not considering overtime, right? So that's it. A full-time employee works 2,080 hours a year. Going from $30,000 to $40,000 is about like $4.50 or so. It's really not that big of a jump. To someone who's making $11 an hour, it might seem like a big jump, but it's really not that much. And there are plenty of jobs out there that pay, within that range, $4 or more an hour on what you were making past that. That was a ton more than $30,000, but consider I can get a job, any job paying that, because $11 is pretty much the minimum anyone hires for in my area, even at places like McDonald's. I want to make more to actually retire someday a reality. I could definitely save $10,000, $15,000 a year with good pay like that. I don't have a good work history, and the reason is each year if I quit a job or get fired, I can go across the street and easily get a low-paying job that pays higher. That is a problem, jumping from job to job like that. A lot of recruiters will, I don't want to say recruiters, more like hiring managers will look down upon like job hoppers. Recruiters don't like it either. They'll generally try to explore your job history and understand where you are, coming from, why you're hopping around from job to job like that. So it's really important to try to build up a good work history. So just to note, but there's kind of a way around that, like a good answer that you can make for that, especially since this person seems like they want to settle down a little bit more. and kind of double down on their career and save money and go retire eventually. I don't really have a good work history, and the reason is each year if I quit a job or get fired, I can go across the street easily and get a low-paying job that pays higher. I hate how these companies hire people, and the next year they hire new people with less experience and pay them more. So quitting is my only way of getting a raise. And that's actually an interesting piece there too, because that really does go into compensation and negotiating compensation. If you just accept what they give you, they're just going to give you whatever they feel like. Which, I mean, it sounds like in these instances you're looking at minimum wage. If you ask for more right from the start, you'll probably get more. And if you sell yourself and your labor at the minimum wage, it's going to be, tougher to incentivize you to get paid more. Which sounds like a little bit what happened in this situation too. I'm not completely broke. I have a bit of savings, but not too much. I might be able to get an apartment now, but I want to save more money so I never have to worry about being in this position again. My goal is to save up $250,000 and retire in the Philippines. It's the only way I see myself retiring at all. In fact, even $100,000 is enough to retire there if I knew how to invest and get the 4% return. Income my hair is possible, but I don't know how to invest in the stock market. But $250,000 is my goal. I don't know if it is possible, but I want to try. Just so you know, people in the Philippines seem to make only $200 or $300 per month, so the cost of living there is much lower. Can you all post your most helpful suggestion? So, first things first, you don't really need to have a college degree to make money, and this is something that I learned once I kind of joined the recruitment area, is that there are a ton of jobs that are out there that are willing to pay without you having 4 years in school and a bachelor's degree. We've been told, at least my generation has been told for the beginning of our existence, the way to do it is to go to school, graduate high school, go to a good college, and then, if you go to a good college, you'll get a good job, and if you work hard, you'll make it. And to an extent, that's true. Personally, I think there are a lot of useless degrees out there, and anybody can be successful in any area without a formal education unless it's explicitly required for the job. One area that I think is incredibly lucrative and doesn't have a huge barrier to entry is healthcare and nursing specifically. And you can start off in nursing with a CNA, and it's like a 1-month course in most states, 1 or 2 month course. You, if you pass, you go into a clinical rotation to get yourself some direct experience in the field for about a month, right? Or I think it's less now, probably about a week, but after your clinical rotation, you have on-job training that's applicable, and you start applying to jobs. And, it's very much so necessary right now. We have a shortage of healthcare workers, and certified nursing assistants are extremely valuable. And you're looking at anywhere between the $18 to $20 per hour range. Actually, I would say $16 to $20 per hour range, depending on where you are in the United States. But if you're close to a city, you're probably looking at around $18 an hour. I mean, for 1 month and a small investment, because I think it's a few $100s to get the certification. You would be going from, in this case, you would be going from $11 per hour to $18 per hour. If you work, 40 hours per week at $18 an hour. Over a year, you're $3,000 off from your $40,000 a year mark, right? So you're almost there, and that doesn't even include if you work overtime. If you're working at a hospital or some 24-hour care facility, in a lot of cases they'll have differential of pay if you're doing undesirable shifts like evenings, nights, and weekends. So you can make up the extra $3,000 that way. You can do overtime. There's kind of a bunch of different ways you can hit that $40,000 a year metric. So that's kind of one area, and there's definitely a lot of growth within that field too. Let's say this person likes caretaking. You can start with your CNA and get some, like, maybe 6 months or so of experience, save up a little bit of money, and then drop your savings on an LPN course, which is a licensed practical nurse. Practical nursing is pretty much the step before your RN, if you were to go get like an associate's or a bachelor's degree. It's generally speaking, accelerated courses for your practical nursing license can be like 8 months. I would say generally courses are like around a year. And you'll get everything done in that year. You'll do your clinical rotations. And once you graduate and pass your NCLEX for your practical nursing license, you graduate, and pretty much right from the get-go, you're making $50,000 a year. That's just at the minimum. Practical nurses make some good money, especially in cities, at larger hospitals. That's also a really good way you can kind of start a career. So healthcare is lucrative. There's always a necessity for workers. So, that's kind of a field that has low barrier to entry, as I mentioned, because you can get your certified, your CNA, certified nursing assistant certification, and just start and build your way up. Even once you get your LPN, you already completed clinical rotations. If you wanted to go for your associate's degree in nursing, it would probably take you around like a year to year and a half, because you already have some level of background in the healthcare field. You already have a license. And you've completed clinical rotation, so it likely can take a piece off of your associate's degree, and you spend like a year or so getting your RN at associate's level, like $60,000 or so. It's a pretty significant increase. That's a good salary to live off of. I mean, that's pretty comfortable in most places in the United States. Maybe not like some parts of California or like New York or Boston, for example, but like a good chunk of the rest of the country has a lot lower cost of living, and so $60,000 a year, especially if your loan is comfortable. Kind of another area that is underestimated. I would say in the more recent years frowned upon, but it's still like a very much so necessary field for people to go into, is trades, plumbing, electrician, construction. Just in general is kind of an area where they need workers, and it pays well. You do an apprenticeship for some time, and then you finish your apprenticeship and you're out, and you can make like really good money for it. Even like mechanics, for example, if you can start your own business with that. There's a million things that you can do and not require a degree. But even if you're just looking for like a job, even if it's like a dead-end job and you just want to make your money and start saving, like large companies such as Walmart or Amazon are willing to pay their workers now because of the shortage kind of across the country of labor. So you're probably looking at a minimum $18 an hour with a company such as those for, I would say, fairly straightforward work like packing boxes or getting people's orders ready, or just general customer service. If you don't want to do customer service, Amazon, if it's in your area, is a really good option. They pay $18 an hour. They have sign-on bonuses of like upwards of $1,000 or more right now. And that's the type, it's benefits on day one too. So that's the type of job where you go, don't interact with anyone, put your head down and just work. You can make your money. It's weekly pay, and you're probably going to average anywhere between $6 to $7 more per hour than what you're currently looking at $11 per hour doing a restaurant job. So tons of options there. I'm definitely a big pusher for, if you don't know what to do and you're at all interested in any capacity in the healthcare field, being like a CNA, although it's very hard work and it's probably not desirable to most people, if you don't mind taking care of some people and who are sick, being a CNA can be a good option temporarily while you're figuring out what you want to do. If you want to be a nurse, starting as a CNA is a good option, or if you want to do something a little bit more hands-on outside of that field, get into a trade. It's really lucrative. It pays. So you don't necessarily need a college degree to be successful in today's market. The areas that I will say that it is worth going for your college degree, if you're going for engineering, it pays well, very well, and it's a necessity. Nursing, if you want to be an RN, you absolutely need to get your degree for it, and it pays really well also. Doctorate degree, if you want to become like an MD, that's absolutely necessary. But I mean, you're looking at like a couple $100,000 a year at a minimum, so you're getting paid well. It's just a lot of work to get there. So definitely options, even without the education. But yeah, tell me what your thoughts are below. Feel free to comment if you have kind of expertise in this area, or you took like an untraditional path for your career. And like and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching.